Hello, hello. Good to have the pleasure of your company here in this fine place. Well, not always fine, but at most times rather exciting. For those of you that have not been formally introduced to me, my name is Aziz Gool. For a long time, though, I quite resonated with the name Iftar, the meaning of which, loosely translated, of course, is the one who loves for his brother what he loves for himself. Such an amazing concept. So now that you have my name and what I identify with, and yes, I do believe that there's great meaning in a name, and at some point in your life, every person fulfills his or hers. You're probably wondering what a right crap story this is. I can't even picture what this guy looks like. Well, let me try and give you some cues to work on, and the rest, well, it's up to your imagination, I guess. So, where shall I begin? Well, I'm tall, dark, and handsome. Enjoy long walks on the beach. I'm only messing with you. No, seriously though. To describe myself, I'd probably say that I'm a percent of two types. One, hard living, reckless, and rather offbeat, admittedly. On the other side, slightly more grounded, rational, and aspirational. An ancient way of a future ideal, more or less. Like a Coke bottle on the table, every side always existing, but only can be seen one angle at a time. But just for you, just for today, let's put the laws of physics to the test and, shall we say, spin the bottle. And where we stop, nobody knows. Okay. So now that we have been formally introduced, perhaps it would be a good idea to tell you a little bit about this place you now find yourself in. It's not really a land of hopes and dreams, although it is a place where legends are made. There are high mountains, blue skies, and silver linings. There's also poverty, pain, hunger, and destruction, a world not very different from your own. Except here, in this place, what we see is not where we are, but a reflection of where we come from. It is no longer what is said, but the existence of the background music which goes beyond that place where we find ourselves. So we begin again, another story, another time, another place. A journey of 1,000 miles walked 1,000 miles at a time. This time, no once upon a time, happily ever after, just this moment. I can't think, expect, or dream of tomorrow, for what I have realized, it is true as they say, it will take care of itself. I can no more regret the photographs of yesterday, because I probably would have looked just as silly, been just as scared, and fumbled just as often. To some of you, the story might even seem familiar. To others, merely just the rantings of a madman or the memoirs of a nobody. Nevertheless, here I sit and write, and here you stand and read. How little control we have of the moments we find ourselves in. I've spent the majority of my youth in search of those naiveties that keep us smiling and those challenges that keep us succeeding, and more often than not I've heard, curb your enthusiasm or grow up, this is the real world. You'll eventually hate what you do and find less time to think to do what you love. Slave away for friends and family, and yet see yourself no closer to being master of your destiny than a writer of this moment. In reflection, you have now found everything that you wanted but want none of it. You found success but not peace, and moments but no real story. So since right now there is no story to tell, perhaps we shall start with this bubble, this moment that we speak so often about, this moment right now that I and you find ourselves in. Well, perhaps there is a story there after all. Let me paint you a picture, and you be the one to decide.